I challenge you to a duel.
Hello and welcome to the Movie Duel podcast. My name is Peter and I am your host. On each episode of the Movie Duel podcast, we select a subject based around movies, and then two of my co-hosts each pick a film that they think best fits that subject. The only rule being that you can't pick a film that has already been discussed on the podcast. However, you are joining us for one of our special quick draw episodes. So these are bonus episodes in which I invite on a special guest to talk about the movie duels of past, give them some of the subjects that we've already discussed on the podcast, and get them to make their own selection. This time around, I was joined by the wonderful Erin Russell, daughter of co-host Jamie, who's been on this podcast before in our best time travel episode, where she went head-to-head against her father, and I invited her back to get her opinion on some of our past subjects. Before we get into that, just a few reminders about how you can get in touch with us here at the Movie Duel podcast. All our links are in the show notes for this episode, and you can also find a link to our Patreon page in which you can find extra bonus content for a small fee. From as little as $1 a month, you can get access to fantastic bonus content, and if you become a super supporter for just $4, you get early access to episodes like this as well. But that's enough of that. I hope you enjoy Quick Draw with Erin.
Okay, relax, Doc. It's me. It's Martin.
No, it can't be. Just sent you back to the future.
Yeah. Oh, I know you did send me back to the future, but I'm back. I'm back from the future.
Great Scott.
Okay, so joining me on this edition of Quick Draw is, well, a returning guest. She made her Movie Duel debut going head-to-head with her father in the best time travel movie episode quite a while ago. Returning to the Movie Duel podcast, it is Erin.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm great. I'm wonderful. Thank you.
Good. Are you glad to be back?
Very bad. I mean, I wasn't expecting to be back, but here I am.
Well, now we've got, here at the Movie Duel podcast, we're all sort of ancient now, so we need to try and get our listeners up and appeal to a younger demographic. So you're going to be part of that, hopefully.
Go kick some life back into this party. I can do that.
Yeah, get some life back into this podcast, indeed. So so like I said, you joined us on the best time travel movie with your choice of Back to the Future, which was quite an epic selection for this podcast. And one of your favorite film, is it?
Yep, it's my all-time favorite. I don't think it's ever going to change, to be fair. I think the ones that you experience early on, I think it just stays with you, and that's always going to be my favorite. I think I was set up to win on that episode. I'm not gonna lie. I think my dad probably would have chosen that picture right in there. I was like, no, I'm doing that one.
Well, it has happened sometimes. I mean, I suppose we could just do an episode where everybody picks the same thing, but it makes it a little bit less fun. But
fun
his choice was a good one. It was a good one. I mean, it's a fine runner-up, I think, for that title, for sure. So I mean, we could maybe start with your sort of cinema history, really, or your cinema loving history. I mean, does that? I think we talked about it last time, but obviously your dad is a big influence.
Massive.
I maybe not said it actually, but obviously Jamie, co-host Jamie Russell, is your father, and he often talks about his sort of movie watching with you, and is that something that started from a very early age?
Yeah, it definitely started early doors. He wanted to, corrupt me with the nerdy gene as early on as possible, just ingrain it there, and he did it, I'm not going to deny that. So I reckon it started with Star Wars. I think I was around 6, maybe 5, maybe 5. Um, yeah, Star Wars is the first proper film I remember watching because little girls, all I was watching was like Disney films until like had to put your foot down, get some proper seasoning in there. This is real film, Erin. And he
Wow.
introduced me to that, and then Back to the Future must have been pretty quick after that. Again, probably same year, and then I was lost to the cinema. Yeah.
Would you say you sort of get into that level of obsession with films that your dad is or your dad has?
Yeah, I feel like we both nerd out at a similar level. Like I'll be so obsessed with a film that I'll go collect a load of memorabilia for the film, like posters all over my room, that sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't try and like, be reserved about it. I go all out when I really love something.
Yeah.
That's something we've talked about before. It's like, oh, Erin, again, like you have to spend when I got a spot of money or if I have an obsession at the time. There's no such thing as saving. Yeah, I'll just keep on buying and buying and buying, which I should probably sort that out, because I'll be
It
an
never
adult soon.
it never goes away, Aaron. It never goes
Oh,
away.
never does.
The only thing
Oh,
I ever sort of spend on myself is either movie stuff or t-shirts that have movie stuff on them.
yeah, movie stuff is a criteria, I guess.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I mean, what's your sort of viewing habits? Obviously, you get a lot of influence from
Mm.
Jamie, and stuff that he maybe sort of sends in your direction. But what generally do you sort of go for when you're picking maybe a genre
Mm.
to sort of delve into?
Again, I don't know if this is influenced by my dad, but I've definitely made myself an avid horror fan. Like I love horror. It's my genre. If sometimes when we're watching, my dad will have to like steer me away from horror. It's like, oh come on, Erin, we watched a horror like last night and the night before. Like switch it up a little. And yeah, I'd say horror is my automatic go-to, especially now because obviously we're in October, Halloween season's coming up. It's got to be the thing to watch. That's what my viewing patterns are right now. But I won't say no to like a psychological thriller, one that really makes me think. I tend to like them when my dad hasn't seen them as well because he's always like looking at me like, "Oh, you never gonna guess what's coming up now." It's really irritating. I'll be like, oh, "Stop it!" because he's holding something so it's so annoying.
I can just imagine that as well. I can picture that. Yeah, yeah. It is. I mean, it is. It's sort of my daughter's now sort of. I mean, she's what 10. She's 11 now. And we went to watch Jaws a couple of months back at the cinema, and it was her first time seeing Jaws. And we've got over the last month, we've watched all the Jaws sequels and stuff as well. So I'm very much like that, sort of waiting to see if she reacts to certain things.
Mm.
But I need to stop doing that because obviously it's it's probably quite annoying. Um,
Just a tad, but I think it's the excitement of being a parent and like showing your child what you love,
yeah.
and you just praying that they like it as well. I know my dad's told me he was a little worried that I wasn't going to be a massive film fan or I would just get bored of it because he was like, "Oh, you're never going to get bored of watching films with your old man." I'm like, "No, come on, I'm nearly an adult now and I haven't gotten bored yet. I've
Yeah.
scratched the surface, really."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. So, obviously, I invited you back to take part in what part? I invited you back to take part in one of our quick draw episodes. So this is where we give you some of the subjects that we've discussed in the past, get your thoughts maybe on the films that we picked if you've seen them, and get you to make a selection of your own. So, Erin, are you ready?
I am absolutely ready.
Excellent. So we start, as we always do, with episode one, with the most underrated sequel ever, with my choice of Predator 2 from 1990 and original co-host Liam's choice of Gremlins 2 from the Gremlins 2, the new batch from 1990 also. So have you seen both of those?
Well, I've got to start off disappointing, and I'll say I've seen neither of them,
Have you?
and
Oh, right,
neither of
okay.
them I've
Okay.
seen both of the originals, and I
Right.
was impressed with both the originals, so I have no excuse as to why I haven't seen the sequels. Just pure laziness, I'll be honest.
Fair enough.
Um,
Fair
but
enough.
yeah, great. I'm sure they're great films,
They
but nah,
are.
I've not seen them.
Not a problem. Well, I mean, what would you say for that? What would you think is the most underrated sequel ever?
Um, well, a good contender in my eyes would be Ghostbusters 2.
Yes.
I love the whole Ghostbusters franchise, but Ghostbusters 2 is so shockingly overseen and just not talked about that I'm like, oh, that was a big surprise because I'm aware of how successful they've been in the box office and how I was decently impressed for a sequel, of a major film in the 80s, usually the sequels can be a little bit disappointing,
Mm.
might add. But Ghostbusters 2, I was like, yeah, that's solid. But 54% on Rotten Tomatoes as its score. I was like, what?
It's crazy.
That is kind of crazy.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
can often
loved
sort
it.
of you can sort of retrospectively sort of watch some of these films, and especially when you've got a lot of this, like I would have had for Ghostbusters 2, a lot of nostalgia because I was prime Ghostbusters age, especially when Ghostbusters 2 came out,
Mm.
and I loved it as a kid. And there's certain films that I think you can go back and watch them as an adult and sort of go, yeah, I can maybe see why people didn't like that or it got panned or whatever. But I'm with you. I don't see why Ghostbusters 2 was so panned at the time.
Well, you see about that because Ghostbusters was so popular and so renowned in the 80s that Ghostbusters 2, I think it had so much pressure as to be
Yeah,
the
maybe.
amazing sequel. But they did, in my opinion, maybe not yours, but in my opinion, they reined in a bit of the scares and the horror, and it was more appealing to a younger audience as well, potentially for Ghostbusters 2.
Um, in places, possibly, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I think. But I mean, the whole Vigo head thing was pretty freaky. Ultimate, but again, maybe because I saw that at a very young age. I mean, I would have been 7 when that came
Mm.
out, and seen it probably not too long after its original release. But there's heads. There's like eyeless heads in the underground.
Yeah, and the underground train is on sticks. To be
Yeah.
fair, yeah, I mean that's pretty creepy. But I think I saw it when I was like possibly 12 or something.
Right.
I don't know. I wasn't like overly impressed by the scares. Maybe because I do love a good jump scare. It's my favorite
Okay.
horror. But yeah, but I still thought overall it was a great film, and it doesn't really deserve that Rotten Tomatoes score. I'm not
No.
gonna lie, because that would point to a less than satisfactory film, which wasn't the case.
Well, what did you think of the two latest?
Oh, the Afterlife,
And Frozen Empire.
Frozen Empire. I haven't seen Frozen Empire
All
just
right.
because
Okay.
I was a bit of a sheep with this one, and I followed some negative reviews. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna give it. But I liked Afterlife. I thought it was cool how they brought back Bill Murray and some of the other guys. And I could see my dad getting a little bit emotional in the back, and we saw it in the cinema. Like, gosh, this takes me back. This is so good. Um, yeah, no, I really loved it. To her, it's quite good
Oh, great.
as a reboot. Trying to get more interest in it again. It was stellar effort.
Yeah, I mean, Frozen Empire is worth a look. It
Mm.
isn't great by any stretch, but it's worth a look. There's just one too many plot points really in it. There's a lot going on that it doesn't necessarily need, but it's fun. It's a fun little film. Okay, so we're going to move next to episode 6, which was my first episode with Vanessa, in which we discussed the best Paul Verhoeven movie, with my choice of RoboCop from 1987 and Vanessa's choice of Basic Instinct from 1992. Now, obviously, you haven't seen Basic Instinct because you're far too young and impressionable to have seen that.
No,
But have you seen RoboCop?
I have seen RoboCop. I can't remember when I saw it. I think it was a few years ago, maybe like 2 years ago. But yeah, it was another one my dad was really keen to get me to see because we have this massive collection of DVDs, and I've always like sought through it and like categorize them, and I'd always come across RoboCop, and he'd be like, "You just got to be a little bit older, because it wasn't 18 at the time, and I'm not even 18 now." But yeah. So RoboCop, I've seen. Basic Instinct, no. But my
Yeah,
best,
don't watch that with your dad.
I'll take your word for it. Uh, best Paul Verhoeven film, I've gone with Total Recall.
All right, okay, cool, yeah.
Well, I probably would have chosen RoboCop, but obviously you've chosen that, so I'm just gonna have to go with Total Recall. But I mainly chose that because I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's one of my favorite actors, and I thought it was quite fitting because it's quite similar to RoboCop in places,
Yeah.
because it does combine the themes of like identity and finding yourself, and about the brain, because obviously Murphy in RoboCop, he's literally left with just his brain, and then they like
Yeah.
reconstruct his whole body, and basically he's lost his identity. And in Total Recall, this Douglas Quaid, we don't know if that's his real name, but he is in this like fiction like reality, and he's trying to find his real self, because then he starts to get flashes of memory back, and yeah, he's not what we think he is, of like a spy in this alter reality world. I
Yeah,
thought
I
it was
mean,
quite cool. I saw it a few years ago, and I thought it was quite well written. It was well thought through. And yeah, I really liked it.
yeah, I mean, it's that sort of classic. I mean, what you sort of expect from the home. Like you say, I think it takes a lot in terms of its plot devices and stuff from RoboCop, and and he would use it later in Starship Troopers as well. They're a real sort of trilogy of films. I think that it could almost be within the same kind of universe or reality, I suppose. And I rewatched Total Recall a couple of weeks back. Actually, it was the first time I'd watched it in a while, and I forgot how kind of deep that film is. I mean, Schwarzenegger, especially at that time, wasn't really known for making too many films that really make you think. But it's a very sort of deep sci-fi, very sort of high concept science fiction film, but it's got all those sort of fun tropes that you expect with a Schwarzenegger film as well, the quips and the action and everything else. But yeah, that's an excellent choice. I mean, yeah, Total
Yeah,
Recall.
thought it was a great blend of comedy and actual like deep concepts, because imagine your whole being is not who you thought it was. That's like kind of a crazy thought. It's also like, oh, life altering, kind of like in a very different sense than like the Truman Show. Your whole life
Yeah,
is like a lie basically, and you try and find who you really are, and that's how they're both, RoboCop and Total Recall, quite interlinked, and it's yeah, they could be part of the same universe,
yeah.
basically.
I mean, it always blows my mind that scene where he effectively has a conversation with himself, and it's his original self telling him that he's not him, you're me. And just the whole sort of concept of the fact that you have to consider these as two different people for the story to move on. And it's like, well, his old self is a bad guy,
Mm,
effectively. And he's just, he doesn't want to go back to that. It's such a mind-boggling concept.
mm,
But yeah,
absolutely.
fantastic choice. Okay, so we're moving up to episode 9, which was another episode with Vanessa. Best public transport action movie, with my choice of Executive Decision from 1996 and Vanessa's choice of Speed from 1994.
That's that's annoying, because I really love Speed. Speed is like one of my favorite films, and one of my first films as well. So yeah, I would have totally gone for that, but instead I went for something that might be a little controversial, because Technically, it's not an action film,
Okay.
but what the heck? It is an action film in my eyes. It's an action horror. Train to Busan.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that absolutely fits the bill. Yeah, definitely.
great because that's what I chose. Um, so yeah, I chose that because it brings out it talks about how the horrible businessman and the brave sacrificer, and it brings out like the best and the worst in society, and it really made me think actually because I love horror films, but they don't necessarily make you think. But it's also very much, I think it's very much an action because great use of the train sections and the subway sequence was absolutely terrifying and amazing. Um, Also, interestingly, very emotional ending because
Mm.
usually you don't associate horrors with like getting a little bit teary, in the back of the cinema, but yeah, it's more just whipping out the chainsaws, ripping off limbs. But no, when the dad dies, I thought that was a very interesting touch and a very emotional ending.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I went for.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's a great choice. I mean, I think when I saw Trade to Busan, I'd heard a lot of good things about it, and I was very much at a point where I was kind of done with zombie films and
Mm,
zombie media because I'd suffered through however many series of Walking Dead and watched that sort of decline and seen bits of other sort of Z Nation and other shows that were trying to sort of emulate that, and it was just everywhere zombies, and I was like, I can't go into another zombie thing because I'm quite tired of it. But I gave it a go, and it just blew me away how damn good that film is because it, it's not in terms of its simple plot. It's probably not too distant from other films that we've seen, but it's like say it gets the action right, it gets the emotion right, and it gets the horror right as well. Everything is there, and we've got a very clear journey in the film that has really high stakes as well. And yeah, it's just an incredible film. I've still not dared watch the sequel. Is it Peninsula? I think.
I haven't seen that either. Uh, I should watch it because I really enjoyed Train to Busan. Then again, I'm pretty sure I've only seen Train to Busan like once or twice as well. But the
Yeah.
fact that I've only seen it once or twice, but it stood out so clearly to me the moment um, public transport action and the fact that speed was not an option for me. I was like, right, that one's scuppered. But Train to Busan, that was my immediate backup, and that was what I was going to go for. So I usually need to watch a film at least 3 times to fully appreciate how good it is and like have it cemented in my memory. But
Yeah.
the fact that I've only watched it like once or twice means that it's a great film.
Yeah.
And because I've got an absolute terrible memory of a goldfish, but that really stood to me, and it actually really got me into international film and
Yeah.
Korean horrors, and introduced me to Asian filmmaking, and that's a whole
Oh
new
yes.
kettle of fish there, and it really tickled my
Yeah.
fancies.
Well, you'll have to wait another year to watch some of the real best ones, I think.
Oh, I think you'll find I watch whatever I want, whenever, with or without my dad.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. Well, I'm not going to suggest any because that would be encouraging you, and I don't want to get told off by Mr. Russell. Uh, okay. So we're moving on to episode 15 with the worst prequel ever. So I was joined by Tarquin on this one with his somewhat controversial choice of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom from 1983, and in my mind, perfect choice of Exorcist: The Beginning from 2004.
Right. Yeah. Indiana Temple of Doom. I can't say I was seeing that coming, but I can't say it like really stood out to me because I can't really remember much of it at all. But I
Okay.
wouldn't. It doesn't peg me as like the worst prequel because I would have remembered it if it was that awful. Because one thing about I said how I remember if a film is amazing, but if a film really if it sends me to sleep, I'll also remember it very well. And Temple of Doom wasn't that. Um, I haven't seen Exorcist prequel. Haven't seen Exorcist either. Shoot me. Shoot me.
Oh
Um,
dear.
I guess I'll have to watch that after this. But my choice was Attack of the Clones.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I have strong opinions on Star Wars because Star Wars was literally my life a few years ago. Probably it still is my life. To be fair. If you walk into my room, it'll still look like it is. But yeah, Attack of the Clones was my first one. I was like, oh yeah, rubbish prequel. Fits the criteria for this question quite well because what was the actual plot line of Attack of the Clones? Because I had no clue.
Um. Yeah. No, it's a very weird one, isn't it? Not liking sand.
Mm,
Uh,
getting married,
mass
and
murder.
battle on a big sand planet,
Yeah. Colosseum.
cutting off a hand.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no, it wasn't great. I mean, I was expecting a lot more because it was obviously it's part of that massive Star Wars franchise, and to be a part of that franchise, I mean, I know you can have the odd rubbish film, but it has standards, and that really slipped from like a Star Wars standard for me. Because I mean, Phantom of the Menace isn't great, but it had some areas where it really stood out to me, like
Yeah.
the battles, the lightsaber fights, and the pod
It's
racing. I thought that was great.
it's
Apart from
aged well.
apart from the Jar Jar Binks, I I cannot stand Jar Jar Binks. I don't think anyone in this house can. But it was a far cry from Attack of the Clones, which I didn't even bother getting it in 4K. I had the whole Star
Oh
Wars
wow.
saga in 4K, and I was like, no, I'm not getting Attack of the Clones in
That's
4K. It's a
massive
waste of
shade.
money.
Massive shade thrown at the Star Wars
um,
franchise there.
right, it's just because if I don't get it in 4K, it means it's frankly just not worth my time. So, yeah, no,
Yeah, but then when you're doing a watch through, you're like on a bound to watch it though still.
yeah, I mean, if I go through like a binge of all the films, I'll put it on times 2 speed just so I can like see, and then I'll pause at a moment where I think it's all right, and then he'll start talking about sand again, and I'll start speeding up again. Not really worth my time.
Yeah, I think it is a lot of that. I think it's there was a famous quote when George Lucas watched the first sort of run through of Phantom Menace that's on the making of documentary, and he says, "I think we maybe went too far."
Mm.
And like you, I think Phantom Menace is better than its reputation for
Mm.
sure. But Attack of the Clones, I think, is where they went too far because it was just over. Everything was just overdone in Attack of the Clones. There's far too much noticeable sort of CGI, I think,
Mm.
because they were throwing in, especially that end scene. Well, you're throwing in the is it the Caminans or whatever on Camino. You've got those. You've got all these different species at the end in the Colosseum. You've got far too many characters that are digital that didn't need to be digital, and it just takes you out of that sort of
Well,
feeling
yeah.
it. Yeah, it takes you out of the world, and yeah, I think it tried to do too much sort of human emotion as well
Mm.
with maybe actors that weren't potentially capable of doing it, especially poor old Hayden Christensen.
Oh
Bless him.
yeah. So he got an award for being the worst actor of the year, and that was that was either on Revenge of the Sith or on Attack of the Clones. But I'll have to admit that his performance in Revenge of the Sith was admirable. and fight me if you think it wasn't, because I will come to that man's defences, because I thought he was full of passion, going from good old Jedi Knight Anakin to I hate you, with Anakin. I
Yeah.
thought he faced that transition really
He was,
well.
he was definitely better in that. I think, like with most of the prequel, it's the script really that doesn't help, because there's only so many ways you can say I hate sand, and
Yeah.
I mean even Ewan McGregor struggled with some of it, especially in there's one line in Revenge of the Sith where he says he's seen the holocron of him killing younglings, and it's just yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, didn't really hit the mark there.
No. But yeah, it's definitely it's definitely the worst of those three for sure. Attack of the Clones. You could almost just not have it. You could almost get away with not watching it. Yeah, I mean, you've got to explain where the clone army comes from, I suppose, but there was probably better ways to do that.
I think it would just go right over my head. I'd be like, oh, there's a cool army going to kill all the Jedi. Fine. I don't think I'd need to know how they were born, how they're created on this weird little water planet. It's just it was a bit of a waste of time.
Although it has led to a fantastic trend. I don't know whether you've seen this on social media, but people are like, when it's pissing it down outside, they'll set the camera up inside and go and stand outside with the dressing gown over the head and going, I've made contact with.
That's great. I haven't seen that.
I'll look. I'll see if I can find it. And I'll send
My
it
algorithm's failing
me. Yes, algorithm. Come on, get yourself in
Get
gear.
with the picture.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll take a short break at this moment in time, and we'll be back in a moment with some more choices, some more subjects for you. Okay, so welcome to the intermission. So this is the part of the episode in which I ask my guest a random question, a question that they haven't prepared for, and get their honest first answer. So, Erin, are you ready for your intermission question?
God, I don't think so, but I'm gonna have to say yes. What have you prepared?
Well, I have actually. It's not a question from myself. It's a question from your father, Jamie Russell.
Oh, of course. What's he cooked up?
So, I mean, obviously, well, I'll say exactly what he said. So, we all know that the wonderfully positive influence your dad has had watching great films with you. What do you dislike about watching with him?
Oh, what do I dislike about
anything that irritates you? Which I suppose we've already covered.
Yeah,
but there must be more.
Yeah, definitely when he knows something I don't, he'll be really like passive aggressive about it. He'll be like, oh, he'll turn around in his seat and like stare at me to get like my reaction, and I'm like, what are you doing? And he's just like, oh, nothing. And
is that in the cinema as well?
Oh no, I think the thing is I don't really notice it in the cinema because it's like really dark.
Oh, right.
In the cinema, because I think it's a little bit different then. But another watching habit. Most of the time, because whatever he shows me, he's seen. So he'll have like he'll be doing several things at once. He won't be giving the film like his full attention.
Right.
So sometimes he'll have like his iPad with like the Scottish football on. Obviously it'll be on mute, but it'll be like in my eye line. Sometimes it'll like flash up and it'll go like oh. Somehow got a goal. So that's one slightly I can live with it.
I will go with you on that, because we recorded a podcast once. We were doing a roundtable for Patreon, and he was watching the Wimbledon final whilst we were recording.
I remember that. I'm sure he wasn't silent the whole time. Or was he doing a good job?
Yeah, he was fine. Yeah, I think it ended fairly quickly. So, but it was just the rudeness of it, not giving us his full attention.
Honestly, he's terrible like that.
He's terrible. I mean, what would Uncle Kurt say about that? Or Great Uncle Kurt? Sorry,
Great Uncle. Um, oh God, I remember. Sorry, people were asking me if I was related to him. Like that was genuinely like a thing in school, and I had to like constantly say like no, no. Got so annoying in the end.
Well,
Um,
actually, I wouldn't have thought many kids your age would have known
no,
who Kurt Russell was.
no, yeah, you wouldn't have thought, but yeah, it was more like year 8, year 9, just like that immature age where they know I'm not related to him because he's like ancient and he's from another continent. But yeah, they just did it to get on my nerves because I'm as oh another thing that it's not necessarily to do with film watching, but my dad does to me all the time is wind me up. Like so I'm so easy to wind up. I'm so rage baseball. It's terrible. I need to sort myself out. But yeah, they did it to rage bait me 100%.
Wow.
I'm trying to think of some more. There's definitely some more things that he'll
We've
do.
opened the floodgates now. Just keep.
um, oh, he's usually quite a good film watching part. That's why I call him. He's a good film
I
part.
mean, he's mentioned that one of his pet hates in the cinema is people munching popcorn, as he
Oh,
says.
yeah,
How is it? Do you notice this when you're in the cinema with him? If
yeah,
he's starting to get triggered?
absolutely. It's like a step-by-step process. First step will be the little of irritation. He'll be like, "God, that's annoying." Like, you see these rude people behind us, like munching on popcorn, like really obnoxiously loudly. But it's when
Obnoxiously loud, he says
it's
that as well.
that's when the English teacher comes out there. It's when they bring out the full Chinese takeaway behind us. Because I think it's not the fact that he gets annoyed because of the noise. I think he's just jealous. People have got a whole Chinese takeaway behind us, but he must be engrossed in the film because I wouldn't mind having a little food with watching the film. It doesn't really take my attention away, but it's
Yeah.
when everyone else around us has food and we don't.
I was just say, is
Yeah.
that a rule when you go with your dad? You can't have any food.
It's a rule. We can't have absolutely anything. Not even like a drink. Nothing.
Wow.
Complete opposite of his brother, who always like he ladens up on the food. He's got all the popcorns,
Hot dogs, nachos.
all the pick and mix, all that jazz. Couldn't be further from my dad, and that's when he'll do it just to annoy my dad. He'll get all of the crunchy stuff and just munch at full volume next to my dad and watch how his face changes.
Rage baiting your dad is
Rage
getting
baiting my
revenge for
dad.
you. Yeah.
That's brothers for you. Brothers for you.
But here's the real question then, I suppose. So if you go without your dad, do you get food?
See, I don't usually go without my dad. That's the thing. But
All right, okay.
when I do go without my dad, yeah, with friends, obviously I will always get food because I think getting food is part of the experience.
Yeah.
Generally it's like a part of the enjoyment factor. Gotta have a quick munch. So
Yeah.
I think it's quite important.
Yeah.
But
I mean, to be fair, most of the time I've eaten the food before the film started, so
yes, exactly. It never lasts long, does it? Beginning credits and you're already fishing for the last of the packet. You're like, oh, yeah. I think he just takes it really seriously. So it's like
yeah, which is
anyone
fair
anyone
enough.
who's like being a little bit obnoxious behind us, he'll have no qualms turning around in his seat and just going, "Oi, just be quiet. Like I'm trying to watch the film." Um,
Fair
and
enough.
that's where I'll get a bit like shy and like, "Oh God, that's my dad." Oh. I'm yet to see him confront someone in the cinema, but I do believe he's done it before.
Oh, right. Wow.
Probably.
Well, I'll get that story out of him next
You,
time.
you should try if it has happened.
Excellent. Okay. So we'll call that the end of the intermission and the rage baiting of Jamie. And we'll head back to the main episode. Thank you, Erin. Okay, so we're coming back with episode 16, which was, the first episode that featured your dad. Well, not the first episode, but the first episode that we've come to, with the most underrated Sam Raimi film. And we discussed my choice of Darkman from 1990 and Jamie's choice of The Quick and the Dead from 1995.
Right. Well, quite a big fan of Sam Raimi. Does some great films. But I haven't seen Darkman.
Okay.
I don't think. And The Quick and the Dead sounds familiar. I feel like I've seen it, and there's a big tick next to it, so I'm pretty sure that means I've seen it. But for some reason, that doesn't stick out to me. So it's not one that I would have chosen as a most underrated, because to me there's probably some that are definitely more. And the ones that I've narrowed it down to is A Simple Plan and Drag Me to Hell.
Okay.
Which some people might say Drag Me to Hell is quite popular and it's not really underrated, but shush, it is, and I about it. So yeah, I chose Drag Me to Hell just because, wow, it's just such an odd concept, don't you think? It's like this gypsy curse, and it basically you have 3 days to like escape this gypsy curse before basically the devil like drags you to hell. Like the ground splits and then you get dragged to hell. And I'm like, that's such a wild concept, but it's quite thrilling to think of, and I really enjoyed it, especially the underground car scene in the car park where you're laughing because you remember it. It's so good. Basically our main character gets into the car, and basically there's all these little hints around that it's going to be something that's coming up, like there's wind whistling, and then we see the gypsy woman's car, and then get into the car and bang, she's in the back seats, and that's a good jump scare. It's one of my
classic
favorite
Raimi. Classic
one
Raimi.
of my favorites. And yeah, the stuff that follows that, goodness me, I can't say I wasn't a little traumatized. Basically sucking on the face and the poking of the eye, like it's awful.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like a very classic kind of horror film, and it's the most sort of, or the closest I think we got to Evil Dead, from Sam Raimi, since he did the Evil Dead, obviously. So I think it was very. I mean, yes, I think there's an argument that you could say it's underrated, because I don't think it really gets talked about as being a kind of modern classic, and I think it is. It's it's a more modern kind of setting, and by the mid to late 2000s, we weren't really sort of talking gypsy curses and stuff like that. I think everybody sort of shied away a little from it because of potential, xenophobic sort of connotations that you might have to it. But we're meant to kind of be on the side of the gypsy character, really, because she's so hard done by, really. And yeah, it's Raimi going back to his just gross, bonkers, great horror.
Yeah, absolutely. I've really loved it. It was genuinely like one of the films that I had to be reminded of. I'll admit, like I had to be reminded that Drag Me to Hell was so good. I had to rewatch it, and then I was like, yeah, hell yeah! Like, this is flipping amazing, and yeah, just it really stood out to me. And stapler to the eye, that sequence, anything to do with the eyes, just I have to get like a little pre-warning. Like I feel like there should be, it should flash up as like a
eye trauma warning,
little trauma warning, because trigger warning, because that anything to do with poking the eyes, grabbing them out. I've seen a few now, and it really gets me. That's a very key element of a horror film. You've got to have something where you gouge an eye out, just for the fun of it, because I feel that's very Sam Raimi.
Have you seen Zombie Flesh Eaters?
Zombie flesh eaters.
Yeah.
No, but it sounds great.
Yes. It was a kind of unofficial sort of sequel to Dawn of the Dead,
Uh-huh.
the original Dawn of the Dead, but it was an Italian filmmaker. Was it? Is it Fulci? It might be Fulci who made it. But yes, there's. I won't say anymore, but
Mm.
that's a yeah. There's two very very key sequences in that film. One with an underwater zombie, and one involving um, a big splint of wood.
Is
But
it very gross? Do I have
yes,
a trigger warning?
very gross. Yeah, very very
Right,
gross.
wonderful. Buckle up for that one. Um,
Okay, yeah. So we'll move on to episode 23. So the best female-directed horror was myself and Sarquin. Talked about his choice of Near Dark from 1987, and my choice of The Babadook from 2014.
right, Babadook. I loved the Babadook. That was so creepy. Like it was genuinely like that's a great shout. Like I would totally go for that. The first film that sort of kept me up at night because I was at that age where I was like, not. I don't. I didn't really take horror films like seriously. I always had that reminder that it's just a film, so I
Yeah,
never really got nightmares from it. But the Babadook was just so chilling and just creepy, and the parent and child relationship between them just genuinely just chilled me to the bone. So for some reason, that one really stood out to me. But I chose The Substance, which is a newer film,
yes, yeah.
um, and it's got quite an acclaim of just being goddamn terrifying because we basically it's these for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's basically like an older woman who's been through her prime. She has this like I would say not now primetime TV show, but it used to be like the talk of the town. But now she's getting older and basically talks about societal sexism and how basically she doesn't have the body enough to keep on with the show. They get rid of her, and that naturally that causes a lot of jealousy and anger, which causes her to discover this like underground organization that will give her the substance, which is like an injection that will turn her into the younger, more beautiful quotation version of herself. Because in my opinion, the actress who plays the older version is just equally as beautiful. There's nothing wrong with her.
Absolutely.
She's amazing. But this is my first introduction to Margaret Qualley. I've seen now a few of her films, but yeah, no, she was perfect to play the younger version. And basically, there's just some side effects of using the substance, which are pretty damn terrifying. I don't think anything could make me take that. Splitting, basically, splits out of your own skin and you regrow your own body. But yeah, because she got so addicted to becoming the younger and more beautiful version of herself that she just became this like huge gross monster at the end. I've never seen anything quite like it. It's crazy.
Yeah,
That was my it was very clearly female director because it focused a lot on societal sexism, and that's typically where you find the female directors. But I I do believe that's more of a cliche for female directors is to focus on you know
yeah,
where women don't have as much power and focusing on how male dominated society is. And I think we should sort of break away from that narrative and try and do some more like different types of films outside of horror as well because it's
yeah,
more around horror. But that was my
yeah.
take on it.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you on that. I think it's, I think yeah, the female directed horror, for the vast majority of the time, it is focused on a female story
Mm.
or whatever. And I mean, Near Dark, I suppose, is an exception to that because that feels a bit more of a male led story. Well, it is more of a male led story in the it's more of a traditional kind of vampire story. Um, but you do sort of get, you know, when you get some, you know, you obviously get a lot of male directors who make really great female-driven horrors as well. But yeah, I mean, the Substance, it was one of those films that really blew me away, and I think the rest of the movie journalists as well, all so sort of shocked by just how damn good that film was. And you know, again, I suppose it goes back almost to that sort of Total Recall that we were talking about at the start. You know, you've got a character who is essentially two parts of the same character, and you know, that sort of duality and how they you know, how they have to sort of deal with what's going on, because again, you know, they're both being kind of selfish in certain ways throughout the film. It's not a clear sort of linear, this part is good and this part is bad. It's a very well thought out sort of morality, I suppose, for both parts of that character. And Demi Moore was completely robbed of an Oscar. She should definitely have won an Oscar. She was brilliant in that film.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about how that's very reflective of the film, the fact that she didn't win an Oscar because of it, and that was like she did get robbed of that. I agree. And yeah, the whole duality thing, the fact that they are one and the same person effectively. There is no her. That was a common quote from the mysterious man on the end of the phone. The Substance, that they are the same person basically, but the one is the evil version, but you know, it is still her. She's controlling it. So
excellent, great choice. So then we've got episode 31, the most overrated Disney film, which Vanessa joined me on with her choice of Mary Poppins from 1954 and my choice of The Lion King from 1994.
Right, The Lion King. I'd like you to just tell me what I'm interested here. What do you find about The Lion King overrated? Is it the songs? Is it just the characters, or
it's a bit of both. I mean, it's mainly the story. I think The Lion King is a brilliant film up to a point, and that's the point where his dad dies and then he goes off, and then I just can't be doing with it. I find the second half of that film really tiresome and just a bit too sickly for me. But I think, you know, that first part, you know, Can't Wait to Be King, and what's the one the hyenas sing? Be Prepared.
Yeah.
And all that is really good. And, you know, it's the visuals are incredibly stunning. But once Timon and Pumbaa come into it, I just can't. It just gives me the pip.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, I don't share your viewpoint, but you know,
I mean, I still think it's a good Disney film.
Yeah.
But the subject was that it's overrated, and I don't think it deserves quite as much love as it gets.
Fair enough. I'm more inclined to agree with Vanessa's choice, Mary Poppins. That one, I mean, I've never really fully gone, oh yeah, I fancy watching Mary Poppins. Like, it's not the kind of film where I'm like pumped up to watch, like, hell yeah, I'm gonna watch Mary Poppins tonight. It's very much a Sound of Music vibe. It's that old, classy, old school London type film. That was terribly said, I'm sorry. It's just, I don't think it really has much structure or story to it. It's just a load of like dancing around and singing.
Yeah.
It's very, very musical, and I don't like musicals. So
I'm with you on that. I don't like musicals.
Yeah, musicals.
A few exceptions, but
really, yeah, fair enough. A few exceptions, but overall, Mary Poppins definitely overrated. It gets way too much, you know, acclaim for what it was, in my opinion. But my choice for today was Encanto. Yeah.
I'm leaving.
You're leaving.
I'm leaving.
Do you love Encanto?
Is that revenge for me saying The Lion King? I love Encanto.
You love Encanto? Great. No, it's like the most irritating film I've ever had the misfortune of having to watch, because my little sister, she always watched it. Like, it was especially when it came out. I think it came out like 2021, 2022, around that time, peak TikTok time, basically. And that was all over my For You page was the Wiener Bruno. Oh, God, save my ears. I hated that song with a passion. And I think it sort of pre-influenced what I thought of the film. Like, I had that negative connotation from that song, and it was just weaved throughout the film. And I just don't really understand it.
Well, I think what I love about it is I find I quite like the music and songs, and I sing them with my kids. My kids watched it for probably very much like your little sister. You know, we watched it ad nauseum, and I never get sick of it. I just think it's a fascinating story. I think it's a very poignant story. It tells you about, you know, you don't have to be something special to be special to your family or to your friends or anything like that. It's a, you know,
Fair
you
enough.
don't be, you know, you don't need your elders, your parents telling you that you should be special or being disappointed. You're special in your own way.
Oh, how cute. Well, still not changed my view. It's just there's something so grating about the main actress's voice because she's in all of the songs. Like
Yeah.
just because she's a main singer, there's just it just hits it doesn't hit the mark for me. And it's not just me. It's not just me. I looked it up and apparently the whole world thinks Encanto is a bit rubbish, apart from you.
Apart
I
from
think
me.
I think you're the 1% that's keeping it going because yeah, a lot of people weren't a fan of it, and I was like, yeah, I agree. Thank you.
Fair enough. I shall have my unpopular opinion on Encanto then. Okay, and then we come to our final subject. So this is episode 39, which was also featured Jamie. The worst MCU film, with Nicole's choice of Eternals from 2021 and Jamie's choice of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania from 2023.
Yeah, we both share that intense hatred for Ant-Man Quantumania. I think it's probably the worst film I've seen in the cinema ever. Like
Wow.
it usually a cinema experience will amplify my enjoyment of a film, but this it just felt like I don't even know what it felt like. It felt like nothing because all the CGI were just like so unbelievable. You could basically you could see that it was fake. And the whole point of that sort of film is that you're supposed to believe that it's real. But yeah, it was
See,
almost like seeing a child reenacting it.
I
Terrible.
have another. It's another unpopular opinion. I quite like that Quantum Mania.
You oh my goodness. You liked
Well,
Quantum Mania?
yeah, I didn't hate. Well, I didn't
What?
hate it. I didn't hate it. I just, yeah.
Oh no, 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 no. It was genuinely like worst regrets. Like I never believe in walking out the cinema, and I didn't walk out of the cinema because I was like, maybe there's a good end credit that I want to see. So that's forced me to stay for the duration of that painful film. But I was not impressed at all. This is the one film that if I had to be forced to like watch again at cinema, that I would walk out of the cinema because I'm not a believer of wasting money because that's a good old 10 odd pounds per ticket that I'm wasting there, but walk straight out of that theatre then.
Well,
The Eternals, I remember seeing that in cinema as well, and I thought, what on earth has that got to do with like the MCU?
yeah,
It didn't fit in the Infinity Saga timeline at all. It was sort of like, let's just try and reignite some interest in our franchise because we're dying here, frankly.
yeah.
They were trying to like push a new narrative so they could maybe make a whole load of money on a new set of superheroes. And there's a random Harry Styles cameo in it. I was like,
Yeah,
what's Harry Styles doing here? Like
playing Thanos' brother, no less.
this is not the MCU that I want. And this is brother is crazy. But yeah, no, I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was a good experience to watch, and I wouldn't say it's the worst MCU by a long shot. So I think that's a little harsh, but I would watch it again. Like you wouldn't get an audible groan from me if I was forced to watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, it was the second time I'd watched it for the podcast, and I enjoyed it a little bit more. I think
Mm,
the final act is really good in that film.
yeah,
I think it's just the build up to it, trying to introduce all the characters very quickly. Just
yeah.
didn't
Didn't
sort
hit the
of
mark.
no.
No, but my one has got to be Thor: Love and Thunder. That's my choice.
Mhm.
It felt too cheesy, and it was like very unbelievable, very not Thor. Like Thor is the god of thunder. He's this powerful, almighty god, and then he comes in on a dragon with the background of like Guns N' Roses, and I'm like, what is this crazy crossover? And it just didn't make sense to me.
Mm.
There was no real substance to it all. I just thought it was a bit of a hodgepodge.
Mm.
I was actually quite excited. It looked like a really good film. The trailer was quite misleading for me. It sort of picked out the best parts and was like, "Oh, come watch me," and then I fell for that. I really did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Thor in general, the trilogy of films wasn't very good, apart from Ragnarok.
What? Well, mind you, thought yeah, Dark World. I like the first one. Dark World. I've said it 3 times. Dark World. Dark World is a hot mess, but it's got some good development in it. Yeah, Ragnarok is amazing. One
Yeah,
of the best MCU films
I
for
love
sure.
Ragnarok.
And I think they found the balance just right. And I think Love and Thunder, they just the needle went too far to the comedy side, and they couldn't pull it back because you've got two very emotional story arcs in that film, with obviously Jane Foster having cancer, and the sort of story of Gore the God Butcher as well, which is set up to be a very emotional part at the start and the end of it, but then they just don't do anything with it in the middle,
No.
and he's sort of relegated to just being a bit shit, really. And then you've got Christian Bale, arguably one of the greatest actors of modern cinema, and you've got Natalie Portman, who's you know got some serious sort of acting chops, and there's some very emotional parts in it with her, but it's all just sort of watered down by all the arsing about by Thor.
Yeah, it's like
He's
the title character is just ruining it.
Yeah, and I mean he had such a great emotional arc going through Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame, and I don't think there was any recovering from that. I think the character went too far by the start of Love and Thunder, when it needed a bit more emotion.
I just think wasn't really any need for the film,
No.
or if there was going to be a need for the film, it would be to set up, this new Marvel timeline that they're trying to put together, with the
Yeah.
all the multiverses and however that's going to work. I don't know. My guess is as good as yours.
Mm-hmm.
But that one and Thor: Dark World, both of them equally shit in my opinion. But you can try and change my opinion on Love and Thunder, but it's not
No.
one that stood out to me, and that means that's why it's not going to be a good film. So I would
No.
have chosen Quantumania because that, in my opinion, is worse than Love and Thunder. But
Wow.
that was my choice. Sticking with it.
Okie dokie. Well, that brings us to the end of our list, I'm afraid, Erin.
Oh,
But we might
God.
have time just to throw you a couple of quick fires.
Go on.
It might be quite interesting. And we go back to our Mega Jewel. So Mega Jewel 1 was the best Steven Spielberg film. What would you have picked for that?
A Steven Spielberg film. Well, obviously, I can't say Back to the Future because technically it's not his film. I know, I know. Oh,
Can you remember what your dad picked? Let's see if you're going to agree with your dad.
I don't know. He could pick anything. Did he pick? Did he pick
Well,
Jaws?
no, what would you pick?
Did he pick Jaws?
What would you pick? I'm not telling you till you
Oh,
tell.
well, I'm not. Damn you! I'm not good with these quick fire questions. I like having everything prepared.
Fair enough. We don't need to. You don't need to answer. I can cut this
I'm
bit out
probably
if you don't want
Jaws.
to. Jaws. Okay.
Because it's his first like breakout role. It was very like, you know, when directors have so many films that you don't see them in the film anymore.
Yeah.
They're just hiding behind the camera, whereas I feel like I can feel him through the camera through Jaws. And I can feel his influence in Back to the Future, even though he's not the director. Zemeckis obviously is.
But I know what you mean about Jaws. That's why I picked Jaws.
Good.
Good choice. Yeah.
So I want to know what Dad picked though.
He picked Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, of course. I should have expected that. Yeah.
And obviously, we've just finished our latest, which was the best horror movie ever. Would you have an opinion on that?
Best horror movie ever. I really liked The Barbarian. That was
okay.
It's a more recent one. Obviously, not many people go when they think of best horror movie ever. They don't go for one that was done in the last few years. But that one I've rewatched several times. It's really good. Always, no matter how many times I watch it, there's still parts where I get chills, even though I know the jump scare. That's a sign of a really good horror movie where it's not like, oh, so predictable. I know all the scares now. It doesn't scare me anymore, but that still scares me, The Barbarian.
Wow.
But best horror film though of all time. I really like The Invisible Man.
Yes.
Yeah. That was Lee Winnell. He hasn't done many films, but I thought that was great for like one of his first. Especially the sequence where they're at the dining table,
yes,
restaurant, and the knife just like, obviously because he's invisible, just hovers in the air and then stab, and then put in her hand, and that was just
brilliant,
perfect sequence, really. Trying to think. Of course, my dad loves The Thing. I mean, obviously that's a great, like, you know, throwback, you know, cult classic, The Thing. I mean, obviously, I wasn't scared by The Thing. It wasn't like, I didn't think it was a scary film. But because there wasn't like amazing effects because it's an old film. But
that's very sacrilegious. That is very sacrilegious.
Very, I know, because to be fair, for the time, there's some great effects, but you know, now I think you could make a proper, really good horror film now and make it a bit more believable. Because, yeah, sorry guys, but bite me. Would he have picked The Thing?
He did pick The Thing. Yes,
he did.
Yes,
I know. Yeah, it's so predictable. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't. He's gonna listen back to this and he's going to scoff at me because I mean I'm going to say that I didn't think The Thing was that great. I mean I put on a face for him. I was like, yeah, Dad, that was really good. Like, yeah, I really enjoyed that, but I wasn't entirely telling the truth. I mean, I did.
Well, you need to when he listens to this podcast, you need to have some popcorn at the ready. Start munching it, and it'll cast him away.
Yeah, I know. I'll be extra obnoxious with it as well. But no, yeah, The Thing. No, I wasn't too impressed by it, but I mean, I'll watch it again, especially because if it's with him.
Well, my choice was The Exorcist, and you haven't seen that.
No.
So.
That was a bit anticlimactic. Yeah.
Well, no, Barbarian's a fair choice.
Barbarian. That's one of my like go-to ones now. Horror.
Fantastic. Well, we shall end it there then, Erin. Listen, thank you so much. It's been an absolute delight to chat to you about some of these subjects and some fantastic choices as well. really amazing choices, and it shows that you've definitely got great taste
Oh, thank you
in
very much for
movies.
having me. It's been I wasn't expecting to come back, so it's been very good sharing my views. And also seeing some of you guys' variety of views that I wouldn't have necessarily gone for, but it's made me think, and it's made me think about some of my answers as well. So yeah, it was really good. Thank you.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully we've given you some suggestions in those subjects as well. And
Yes, you
as
have. I'll definitely go check out some of them.
Darkman, if you like Raimi, you definitely need to watch
Dark
Darkman. Yeah, it's a brilliant film, and it's got
and
Raimi all over it as well.
right,
It's
and that
great.
zombie film that you
Oh, Zombie Flesh Eaters, yeah, yeah.
zombie fleshy. I'll write that down because I like a good gruesome horror.
And I don't. Well, I don't know. No, I don't think it'd be too. But Brain Dead. Have you
Brain
seen
Dead.
Brain Dead?
Nope. I've
Oh.
been I clearly have not been cultured enough to see
Well, when
anything.
we finish, go and say to your dad. Peter says we should watch Brain Dead.
See what he says. Is it going to be a?
It is probably the most. Well, it is the goriest film ever.
Right.
I've not seen anything that even comes close to it. But it is brilliant, especially if you like Sam Raimi. It's one of Peter Jackson's early films.
Nice.
And yeah, it's just absolutely insane, but a whole lot of fun.
Right. Fabulous. Thank you so much.
All right.
Definitely give it a watch.
And there we go. Is there anything that you want to push or plug? Or obviously, I think you've done a few appearances outside of Movie Jewel on podcasts and stuff.
Yeah, no, I had some fantastic times on podcasts. Yeah, I had a great time on The Alien Effect with Tia. She was just amazing. I'll definitely go check her podcast out, guys, if you haven't. And I'll be very interested to go back on there sometime soon when I've collated some new interests and new things to talk about. Because right now I'm currently very boring. Last year of A levels, gotta all I talk about studying now. It's really not
That's
good.
your obsession, revision.
My obsession is just studying now. It's just so sad. I can't even watch any films. My letterbox is barren. It's literally the tumbleweeds are rolling through them.
We all go through those phases, Erin. It's part of life. As you get
Mm.
older, there's less time, but you'll get there. You'll get there, and then
Have
you
to
can just have
manage.
bingy days of watching films. Okay, so that just leaves me to thank Erin, and leaves me to say goodbye, and for Erin to say,
Babadook.